Ladies and gentlemen, I have two of the greatest words for you right now. Footy's back! That's right, it is the AFL Today show, and I am Jared No, I'm not. I'm Jaymz Clements. I'm the host here at AFL Today. I am joined, as always, on this one-stop shop for the greatest game in the world, Aussie Rules Footy. We've got, what is it? A couple of local footy nuffs, AFL experts. I don't know, we've got social guy Leo over there. What's going on, Leo?
Not much, Jim. Just one of the dingai, following your King Dingai sort of setup we got here.
Oh, really?
They call me the king of the dingus. And we've also got, we've got social guy Leo over there. We've got stats guy here as well, Liam McAllion. What's going on, Liam?
Oh, absolutely. I've just been arguing with Leo about SuperCoach picks all day in the office. Very nervous, about North playing and SuperCoach. So there's a lot going on this weekend.
Well, that's it. It is bloody round one. How excited are you? I'm very excited. Teams come out. It's just absolute chaos. We're pouring through it. SuperCoach, like ramifications.
Yep.
But more importantly, ramifications for the actual games, of course. So that's what we're going to do on today's show. We're going to go through every single game. Obviously, the Thursday night footy went through on Wednesday's show, so we'll sort of just give that a quick nod. But that will have started by the time this goes up. But before we do all that, of course, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow AFL Today across all the socials, and get this wherever you get all your podcasts. Give it a star or 5, and leave a review. Come on, simple as that. The cool part is, footy's back. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Woo.
Game previews for round one of the AFL season for 2024. Obviously, Carlton Richmond kicking off tonight at the MCG, 90,000. We covered this in Wednesday's show. We've got lots of ins, obviously, for the Tigers. Dusty, Tomlich, Nank.
Yep.
That means that Naismith is out. That's a big one.
I feel bad for Naismith because he was really good again, but he's a bit stiff.
Sam Banks, Samson Ryan, and Jack Kazitsky also miss out because they bring in Ryan Mansell. So our tips for this, I think we all tipped Carlton.
Surely, yeah.
I think Carlton.
And Leo as well.
They'll win handsomely.
I feel like Carlton fans like yourself will be a bit nervous because they just always are a bit shaky in this game, but they should smash them.
Mate, I'm always nervous. It's the opposite of my Hulk power. Like, what's your secret?
You get nervous.
Always nervous. It's like, I'm also always angry.
Green as well?
I am also always angry, and I'm also always nervous. Is how it rolls. Friday, though, a massive game again at the MCG. Hopefully Taylor Swift hasn't done a number on the playing surface. It looked pretty good.
No, they fixed it up. Look, we can see it right now. It looks really good.
Just a bunch of dudes out there with those the shoes with the spikes in the bottom of it, just stomping it all around.
I think there might be a few injuries. People might fall on wristbands or things like that.
Nice one. Just the lighting up wristbands like, oh my God, I missed the mark. But we do have Collingwood versus Sydney. Collingwood are favourites in this game by just less than 2 goals.
Yep.
10.5 points. This is the team that lost last week. However, of course, Sydney's record of the G is not great. We do have a resident Sydney fan usually on the AFL Today show, but Alex is too busy crying to jump on today's show. So, I know, I powered through and I completely bung foot. He can't power through doing 2 shows in a day. But in terms of the two teams, obviously the reigning premiers, they were the second-ranked defence, the Pies, 4th-ranked offence, which is still pretty remarkable to think about because they don't really seemingly have a traditional forward structure.
Yep.
But they always manage to, manufacture enough points. A great scoring midfield, all that sort of stuff. The Swans, 6th for offense, 9th for defense. I'd expect that to sort of both rise a little bit this year. You've got Grundy, you've got like the midfield. Definitely. How are we feeling about this though? Sydney did go 0-4 at the G last year. And in terms of the teams, Tom Mitchell is out the pig. They're bringing Jeremy Howe and Finn McRae, though.
How do you manage someone after round 1?
I know. I feel like managed when they just put that in is either for an injury or they're trying to hide it that he's old or something. I don't know. Managed is just not after round 1, surely. But you got Howe's a massive in for...
Howe is very, very handy.
He's really good.
For that, again, talking structures.
Since he snapped his leg in half.
But what else are we looking at? Can Grundy get revenge 2.0?
Yeah, I chucked that in there just because he was awesome last week. He's like, gone, I should have had your spot last year. And he absolutely towed him up. He's probably going to go back to the Pies going... Yeah, I'm pretty good, Matt, guys. You should have kept me around, and I'm going to tear you up again. So.
I love it. Grundy's just powered by purely by revenge and hair ties.
He has a lot of hair ties.
But the Pies were 14-3 at the G last year. That's a pretty good record compared to 0-4.
Yep.
This is still a really tricky game to pick, right? I think the Pies didn't look too crash hot last week.
No.
Getting run over away from home, but back at the G. Their favoured stomping ground. I'm probably still going to lean with the Pies. I think it'll be close though.
Yeah.
The line is 10.5. I think they win by about 14. I think this will be a fascinating game for the simple fact we get to see how they sort of manufacture points again, right?
Yeah.
They weren't able to last week. We'll see how they go.
But they had a lot of games last year where they didn't obviously get the most points in the league, obviously fourth, but they'd still just win by a point or something like that. So I'm going to go under those. I reckon Sydney will cover that line, but the Pies will win. I'm going to go about 8 points or something, so I think it's going to be really close.
Yeah, I think I agree with that stats guy. I think Pies, they just know how to get it done in the right moments.
Yeah.
I think this will be a very close game. Both teams will look to get their ground ball game going. And I think Pies will just have enough at the end to get it over the line.
Yep. Interesting. The over-under for this game as well, in terms of total points, that's a weird one where you just go, ooh, where do they actually sort of sit at 174.5 total points? It's really tricky for Sydney, right?
Good conditions in Melbourne.
I'm leaning unders.
I'd probably go under there too.
Oh, I'm going to lean over. But it'll be close.
Nice one. Saturday.
Oh, here we go.
This was a great game last year.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Essendon Hawthorn. Just absolute, shades of a massive punch on in the centre of the G. You love look, AFL Today, I haven't really leaned into this too much, but many would call me the biggest supporter of great kit matchups.
Oh, yes.
In Australian sport.
All your other podcasts, yes.
Every NBA thing, I'm basically sitting here ranking it all, but footy, even NRL, I love a good kit matchup.
Are you saying this one is?
I think Essendon Hawthorn is one of the great, iconic, weird matchups because it just gives us shades of the 1980s.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all it is. I've just got Dermy, I've got Dipper,
yeah.
I've got Vanderhaar. We're on.
Salmon.
It's on for young and old. Yeah, Paul Salmon, the big fish. I love it. The other Madden.
I don't think Hawthorn should ever be in a good kit matchup because
I agree with that.
They are the worst kit in the league. Brown and yellow.
It's actually brown and gold.
Sorry. He's the worst kid in the league, though.
But this is fascinating because we didn't see the Bombers last week. They were 13th and 15th in offense and defense last year. They obviously completely fell apart. They completely Freaky Friday'd with Carlton after that.
They did.
Game.
Yeah, they were fifth.
They must have peed in a fountain out the front of the NC. Or maybe they're just in the Yarra. They all stood side by side.
That was just Jake Stringer's usual
in the Yarra and they just switched powers. It was crazy. The Hawks, 16th on both sides as well, right?
Consistency.
But the Hawks... The Hawks were the hype team at the end of the season. Everybody's like, watch out for your Hawks. Everybody, watch out for the Hawks. Finals next year. Finals. And away, they all lost it. Yeah. Everybody lost it. But then the tampered expectations going into this year because of the injuries. So two wildly inconsistent teams. I think Essendon are probably looking a lot more solid. They are 4.5 point favourites in this game, which feels...
That feels short, I reckon.
Feels pretty short. I think they could probably be a bit more than that.
Yeah,
because with apologies to your beloved Hawks there, Leo, I don't quite see them winning this one. So talk us through it really quickly.
Yeah, you're a Hawks man.
Yeah, look, as you said, they're both very... you just can't trust these teams, right?
No.
Backline is very shaky, both ends. Hawthorn decimated. Bombers just don't rate it personally. Forward line for Hawthorn looks different. Bombers forward line has a lot of question marks, and the mids are just hard to work out, aren't they? You don't know what you're going to get.
Yep.
It's a really annoying game to look at, and to be a part of it and cheering for one of them, it doesn't help.
But we do get to see. So both these teams have a bunch of new players. Obviously, we've got Ben Mackay, Jake Gresham, Goldie, and Xavier Dersma for the Bombers.
I'd say Bombers have gotten a better list, obviously. I think people have said that.
at the moment,
slightly, but it'll just be about 10 weeks. We'll know if it actually is working or not.
That's right. No, the Bombers are in an 8-year window. So
yeah. Brad Scott did say that. That was weird.
But two real big roles that we'll be looking at for this one. Zach Reid at halfback, and then Nick Martin on a wing, listed on a wing in the centre.
For SuperCoach, yeah.
Fascinating to see how that goes for SuperCoach. And obviously their forward set up with the likes of Langford, who was incredible last year, Stringer, 2 metre Peter. This is going to be fascinating to see how they go about it. I think just in general, Essendon, massive question mark for me. And then on the other side, the Hawks, you got Chol, Ginnivan, D'Ambrosio, Nick Watson.
Yep. The Wizard, Leo's favourite new
Wizard.
player.
I love the Wizard.
Hasn't even played a game yet.
He's already the Wizard, though.
I love this. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to be tipping Essendon. However, I think this is a pretty tough one. I think they win it by about just over 5 goals. So I'm going to say 32 points.
Ooh,
I've got 26 in there, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bombers by 20. I don't know. I just don't trust them. First game of the season, I think they'll both just feel each other out for the first half, and then Bombers will kick away late.
Yep, absolutely.
Nice. Pour one out for Leo. Just sitting there.
No one's tipping the Hawks.
I'll be fine.
To be fair, before those injuries, I might have tipped you. I don't know, might have.
Now it's just going to be sad Leo in the stands just eating a pie. Just sadly just chomping away. GWS North Melbourne up there at Engie Stadium. The weirdest part for me is like Melbourne United is also sponsored by
They
Engie.
are. That's why I saw it.
I'm like, I've seen this before, and also I've seen a million ads for it. But now they've got the naming rights up there on the showgrounds.
It's not a nice stadium name, is it?
So that first game, Essendon Hawthorn, is at 1:45 in the afternoon at the G. We go up north 4:35 for your beloved Kangaroos.
Prime time, Roos.
GWS, the hype team, they beat the Pies last week, looked incredible. They were 7th and 8th last year, 7th for defence, offence 8th. Roos, 17th for both.
Consistency again, yeah.
They are 47.5 point favourites.
That's
which
huge.
Is actually, it feels almost a little bit short compared to what we saw for the Roos last year and how good GWS have looked over the last second half of the year, last week as well.
Yep.
I wouldn't like, if we're going to go against the line, I'd probably even go the Roos. I think they can actually make this a bit of a game.
We were pretty good against the line last year that we've talked about, yeah.
But it is a really close call for me. I feel like the Giants could win this by 46 just because they are sleepwalking down the stretch. So, talk us through this one, Stats Guy.
As you mentioned, we're 17th in both the big categories, offense and defense. The one thing I'm worried about, North don't have enough tools. So you got Toby Pink playing his first game for the Roos. I think he'll be solid, but then you've got Aiden Core as well, who's pretty average himself. Then you got a lot of smalls for the Roos where we got to combat Hogan, Riccardi, Cadman, and then when you put Brown in there, who was taking big marks like a big forward as well, I think at least one of them is going to kick a bag, and it's going to be absolutely all hell breaks loose. North, I think, won't be too bad because they're going to play pretty attacking. They showed in the preseason, so I think we can cover that line. I'm still going to go towards the Giants, absolutely smashing them, and just under that line. But yeah, I'm very nervous about North. A lot of new players as well. 5 new players coming in. I think it's just going to take about at least 5 rounds just to get used to it again. So, very worried for my North Melbourne.
So, the ins and outs for this one, Giants, Finn Callahan and Harry Perriman in, which is actually 2
Callahan's really good in,
and then for North, your new players, Dersma, Zane, I love that, Toby Pink, Zach Fisher, former Blue, Dylan Stevens, former Swan,
Dylan Stevens was
and,
really
of course, the much-touted Colby McKercher.
Yes.
Interesting stuff. The tip is obviously for me, GWS. Leo?
Yeah, Giants, I think by about 55. I think they cover.
I'm going to go Giants 45, just under that line.
I'll say 46, literally bang on the line. I think there's a little bit of a run from your I think the biggest problem for me is the Roos against the GWS defense. It's going to be
the other one I didn't say was
the Suva, going out and can always kick a bag, but this might be the one where you're like, ooh, that's a bad start to the season.
Yeah, I think it will be a bad start. Actually, the last 3 times we've played there, though, the Roos have won. We haven't played there since 2020, but we have won the last 3 times we've played there. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's just a step.
Going down to Geelong for Saturday Night Footy, GMHBA, where the Cats take on the Saints. Geelong are 11.5 point favourites at home at Taxpayer Stadium. 7:30 on Saturday night. This is an interesting one. The Cats 5th and 7th ranking last year. Saints, obviously, the defense was incredible all year. That was 3rd in the AFL. The offense was stinky.
That's Ross.
Now, I've got 2 squids. One's 5, the other one's 18 months. What the Saints did last year, it's probably on par for what I've seen in the younger ones' nappies over the last 18 months.
Well, they've
that offense was horrible.
That's
offense
just
was horrible.
Ross Lyon. If you're going to the footy every week and you want a good, fun game of footy, don't go to a Ross Lyon coach game. It annoys me so much.
Leo, do you want to take us through this one? How are you feeling about it?
I actually think Saints will cause an upset here.
Oh, really?
I think they're a well-structured team, really good system.
Even without Sinclair, right?
Even without Sinclair. I think the halfback role, albeit Sinclair, a fantastic player, I think it's one of the easiest roles to fill.
True.
And I think Riley Bonner's really impressed in the preseason. I think he'll do enough to cover there. And I know the Saints don't necessarily have the offensive weapons, but I just look at this Cats midfield. You got Dangerfield, who's very old.
He is.
You've got Tanner Bruin, who's very inconsistent, and you've got Jai Clark in his first full game. I think that's where
he's starting in the midfield.
Yeah, I think that's where the Saints will capitalise. So those are the 3 on-ballers listed. So.
Yeah, okay.
Nice one. This is a fascinating setup, I think, for Geelong. We're going to learn a lot about both these teams really quickly. And I don't know, Geelong at home, I'm still going to pick Geelong by about a goal. So they don't cover the 11.5. I just think St Kilda's defence will have a field day against Geelong, given the clamps. And we saw Geelong sort of fall apart under a bit of pressure last year. But with Jezza Cameron out there, sans cows, I think you'll be okay. Leo, you've got the Saints.
Yeah, Saints. I'll touch on it later, but it's one of my upsets for this week.
Ooh.
Nice one. Stats guy?
I'm going to go Cats by 15. Saints haven't won there in 11 games. Last time, 11 times they played at GMHBA. It is probably the hardest tip of the week, I think, this game, but I'm going to lean towards the Cats.
Moving from Corio Bay, we're going to go up to Heritage Bank Stadium.
Oh,
Here
it's
in the
changed
Gold
now.
Coast.
It's people's first.
Is it people first?
Something like that, yeah.
I thought it changed
Wrong.
last year.
It's like
Now
wrong
changing
bank.
it again.
It's changed every year.
So many banks.
I don't know. It's a Gold Coast
Like,
stadium.
just sort out your finances, Gold Coast. Dimmer Hardwick just had so many shares that they had to
They've got
refinance the entire
lots
thing.
of milk sponsors now. I don't know. There's all weird sponsors there.
People First Stadium. That's going to be interesting. The Gold Coast Suns taking on Adelaide. Gold Coast were big winners last week, obviously, against Dimmer's old team, Richmond. 8:10 p.m. on Saturday. We've got the Suns 12th and 14th ranking last year in offense and defense. Crows the best offense in the AFL last year. No Tex Walker, however, yet. Or do we know?
No, definitely not.
He's definitely not.
I'm pretty sure. Let me double check.
We don't actually have
Here we go. Yes.
Adelaide changes. So.
No Tex and no Thilthorpe, as we've talked about before.
Thilthorpe is out for the first month.
Yes.
We do have the fan favourite, Lukey Pedler, though.
Yes.
He's
is
on the
he in?
bench.
Is
He's
he
on
in?
the
Or
bench.
he could be the sub.
Could be the
I'm just happy he's there because he lifts that Crow side.
The big thing for me is like watching this and going, all right, are the Suns the team that we saw in the first 3 quarters last week? Well, for 3 quarters of the 4 quarters.
Yeah,
they
1, 2, and 4.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 4. So the third quarter, they let the Tigers come roaring back a little bit, but they sort of went, all right, that's enough. We'll lock back in and away we go.
Yeah.
Their offense looked great. Ben King was up and about. The coaches were causing all sorts of havoc. You've got Took Miller and you've got the grass eater himself, Matty Rowell, out there. Like
20 clearances.
20
Matty Rowell,
clearances is
yeah.
gnarly. Just out there, just digging holes, eating grass. This is a real, like, talk about like learning stuff very quickly. Like
This is
Adelaide,
a big game, yeah.
This is huge for Adelaide, I think, without Tex. I don't know if they've got enough to hang with Gold Coast.
I agree.
I think I'm going to go Gold Coast at home. So,
I think, they're the favourite. That's fair.
and how about you, Stats Guy?
Oh, I've been on Adelaide all pre-season, so it'd be very against what I've been saying to tip against them. I think they're going to be top 4 this year, but I am a bit more worried. I thought they could win by 15 or 20 with Tex because I think they can kick a bigger score than Gold Coast. Because, Richmond didn't even play any defense last week. They were just walking through Gold Coast. So I'm going to tip Adelaide by 1, just because I think it's going to be a really good game to start the season. But I don't trust them to kick away. So I reckon it's going to be... And Adelaide had a lot of really close games last year. So.
They did.
Yeah.
Slow start as well, though, last year, right, for Adelaide, from memory?
Yes.
There were some moments where you're like, are they any good?
Yeah, they had a couple of bad games where they got beaten pretty comfortably.
Yep. Leo, who are you taking?
I've got to disagree with your stats.
That's
I'm
all
looking
right.
at this Adelaide team here. Their on-ball trio looks really strong, but they've listed guys, Chris Burgess, Lockie Gollant, Jaymz Bourlace. They're guys that are still figuring it out at this level.
Yeah.
So
I think Lockie
there's-
Gallant can be all right. Yeah.
I agree with that,
Yeah.
but I still think there's some missing pieces to this team, and their main asset was their forward line. They've
Yep.
lost a few key weapons there. So I
fair
think the
enough.
Suns, you got to pick on form as well.
So the line is 7.5 points in favour of the Gold Coast. And I think it's
probably about right.
9 straight games at Heritage, well, at People First. I think it's 8 straight games that the favourite team has actually covered. So I'm going to go Gold Coast winning by 8. That's a half point.
You're loving just on the line now.
Just on the line. I think some of these lines are great this week. So
there you go.
Sunday. Going to the MCG for Melbourne versus the Western Bulldogs. This is a fascinating setup as well because Melbourne looked, well, let's say, I don't know, horrible last week at times.
Well, they didn't lose
Starting
by
off
that much, but that's because it was
Looked
slippery
all right.
conditions.
And then just like the conditions up there in Sydney, they looked like a bit of a mess. This was the best defense in the AFL last year, ranked first, points allowed. 7th offense. Bailey Fritsch was looking really good last week. Dogs, 10th in offense, 5th in defense. They have a really good midfield. We know that. They have some big names in the forward line.
yeah,
Can they all fire at once?
that's the question. Yeah, Jamara is the key. I think Leo talked him up in pre-season. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jamara, this is his year to really skyrocket. I
Yep.
think, like as you mentioned, the Dogs have big names pretty much all over the park. It's sort of that
Except for the
bottom
back line, but
6. Oh, Liam Jones has been really strong.
Yeah,
but I think, they just sort of missed that connection between the midfield and forward, and their bottom 6 isn't as good as compared to other teams, I think.
No, agreed.
Nice one. The line is 7.5 in favour of Melbourne. I just really struggle to see them go out and go, well, yes, we've got a very good midfield as well. So does the Western Bulldogs. I just see them really struggling to go, how do we get past 67 points?
Yeah.
The Dogs' defense is a little bit sketchy here and there, but I think they can actually, look, we know they struggled with the G.
Yeah.
I think they turn this around and actually win this game. I'm going to go the Dogs by 21.
Yep, I agree with
Really?
that. I think Dogs will win this. I think with the D's, their defense will always keep them in games because it's so well structured and organised.
Agreed.
But their offense, I really hate it, to be honest. Like it's like watching it's just like watching paint dry or something. Like,
It's just a bit boring.
It's really dry.
Fair enough.
Stats guy?
Oh, I think you guys are focusing too much on last week, Demons, the offense, it was really slippery. Tomorrow is supposed to be really good conditions. Oh, sorry. On the weekend, Sunday. Sorry. The weekend's supposed to be really good conditions in Melbourne. I think Jacob Van Rooyen obviously had a stinker last week, but the ball was just slipping through his hands as he got the goal of the week nomination. Yep. Check that out on the socials. I don't think the ball's going to slip through his hands as much. Bailey Fritsch as well. They are a bit fair weather players, but it's going to be decent weather. I think their offense will be okay. 5th in, what were they ranked in? 10th in the offense last year. No, sorry. 7th, which isn't too bad. I've gone a bit all over the shop there. But I'm going to tip the Demons by 18 just because I don't think their forward line's as bad as what you guys are saying.
And you're the stats guy.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
The vibe for me here as well, it's like, I don't know, both Collingwood and Melbourne lose last week. It does feel like one of them will go 0-2 to start the season. Just because we need, basically,
I don't think
we need something to yell about.
Yeah.
So give me 0-2.
It's in the script. It's in the
we
script.
need to be sitting there going, what's wrong with insert team here? What is wrong with the Denver Broncos?
Yeah, we just change it. Yeah.
And away we go.
Perfect.
So Leo and I are the Dogs, and you're going the Demons.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys
Interesting.
chose them. That's all good.
Later on Sunday, Port Adelaide hosts the West Coast Eagles, 48.5-point favourites at the Radelaide Oval. Power, obviously, very good last year until the finals where they completely fell apart. And the Eagles were just los horribles.
I was like, where's he going?
I thought he was saying Lloyd.
Yeah, Lloyd.
Lloyd. Wowee. 18th ranked for both the Eagles on offense and defense. Power 3rd for offense. Butters, Rosie in that midfield, just unreal. I think Horn Francis takes a big step up this year.
Yep.
I'm a little bit on board him when it comes to the SuperCoach train. Kind of here for it.
Oh.
But Rosie and Butters are just like one of the best 1-2 punches in the AFL. And the Eagles stink.
Yep.
So
We don't have to spend too much time on this.
Harley
Surely
Reid
they
makes
smash
his debut.
Yeah.
Exciting times there.
He's going to be pretty much captaining that side as you predicted in pre-season. He's just going to say, boys, it's my time.
Jump on my back. It's like you're 12 years old. But Port obviously have big ins like from the offseason. Brandon Zerk-Thatcher, Soldo, Radigalia.
It means Alira can take a few intercept marks, I think, as well, which will be really handy.
Whereas the Eagles get Harley Reid, Tyler Brockman, and
I forgot about Tyler Brockman.
Tyrrell Dewar.
He is the most roller coaster player. Actually, being a Hawks fan, you would know that. At his best, you think he's good?
I think he's a great player.
Okay.
And he's very young, so upside.
Fair enough.
Remember, the one thing that you can at least always bank on is Oscar Allen, 2+.
2+. 3+ this year.
All right, how much did Port win by this one?
Oh, I haven't even thought about this yet. What have you gone?
Well, I've gone 76, so I think it's an absolute smash.
Wait, what has Jim written down here? Are you having
That's
a stroke?
typo.
Are you all right?
4 points.
4?
I think West Coast give Port an absolute scare out of nowhere.
Tasting metal, Jim?
Smelling toast again.
Toast. No, I don't know about that.
I think West Coast come out of nowhere just going, hang on a second. And Port are just like, they're sleepwalking a little bit and just sneak by.
If this was at...
Win by less than 2 goals.
I was going to say if this is at Optus Stadium, but if this is anywhere, if this was played in the Port Adelaide players were blindfolded, they're winning by 50+. So I'm going Port Adelaide 55.
I think bad teams, we always tend to underestimate their chances next year as well. I think there should be just a little bit of fight in West Coast.
All right.
For at least the first couple of weeks.
Fair enough.
So you're going Port by how many sets, guy?
55.
Leo?
76.
Nice.
Just 72 more than you.
No, less than 2 kicks. And then the final game for round 1, Freo hosts Brisbane all the way out west. Lockie Neal dodges his old team again.
Yeah.
Classic. Oh, my God, a pinged hammy, man. But this is, I think, 6:30, 6:50 or something like that
Weird
on
time, yeah.
Sunday. So we're going to figure out what time we're doing our Sunday night show because this could be a 10 p.m. start.
Yeah, no, I'm not there.
Jeez. But obviously the Dockers were one of the biggest disappointments last year. Brisbane, grand final attendees, as we sort of like to refer to them on AFL Today.
They were there, yeah.
But blew a 46-point lead last week at the Gabatoir. Second best offense, 6th best defense last year. The Dockers were 14th and 11th. This is always, I think they played a rollicking game out at Optus Stadium last year, these two teams. Weird game. I feel like Brisbane could smash them though.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a, we're out for revenge and put them to the sword. Leo, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll smash him. 50 points I've got here. Even without Lockie Neal, I think they've just got too much all around the park for Freo. I think Freo's forward line has been an issue for ages, and that's going to stay that way. Whereas you look at Brisbane's, and I feel like everyone could kick a goal.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah,
team.
they could reverse their team, I reckon. Like put them in
Reverse the forward line?
forward line and backs, I reckon, and then just they could still
But
kick a big
Justin Longmuir just got a 1-year contract extension, so they'll be up and about.
That is so weird when everyone's sort of projecting Freo not to be very good this year. They ever get to the end of the year and go, "Oh, should we have signed Longmuir?"
Well, it's obviously like trying to give him like a level of comfort. Where
Yeah,
you're like, all
yeah.
right,
He
we're
would've
not
gone
going to
in-
put you directly under
Yeah.
like pressure from like game 1. We'll give you at least till game 6.
I reckon he would have gone. He might have even gone into a meeting going, "Come on, just give me another one,
Boys, 2 years.
please."
Please.
Because I know we might be crap this year, but yeah.
But I think, Brisbane, this is just like put them to the sword territories. I've got them by 42, so 7 goals.
Yeah, I got him 29 points. So I probably could be a bit more, but Freo at home aren't as horrible as if they're away.
Because ideally, I really love this game to be awesome until I had to finish off the week. You'd be sitting there on Sunday night watching this game going, oh, it's a great tussle, but I feel like Brisbane smashed it.
That's why it's at 6:50 on a Sunday.
Nice one. Let's do a big call for the weekend ahead. On Wednesday, we did big calls of the week. Essentially, there was much more of a sort of pull-out meta vibe. This one's literally just for the weekend. Mine I've already hit on it. West Coast give Port a scare.
Can't believe that.
Because, we saw Port start off slow last year, I think.
Yeah, they did.
They had some moments. I think West Coast, they're going to stink, but I think a little bit of belief from the Harley Reids of the world out there looking like Chris Judd in his prime. Judd man of Judd. I think West Coast just sort of, I don't know, give it a red hot go.
That could be the biggest call
fun.
we have all season, I reckon.
I think it might be the worst call.
Oh, mate. It is
It would
pretty
be pretty
bad.
funny if they now lose like by 120
I think
points.
they could lose by
They
that.
could easily lose by 120 points. I am zagging when I could be zooging. Stats guy?
I'm going Adelaide win. Obviously, they're the underdogs up on the Gold Coast. Adelaide winning. The Fog kicks 5. So you got
Fogarty.
no Thrillthorpe, no Tex. I think Darcy Fogarty's going to have to step up. He's their main man down there. Had a really good season last year, so I reckon he's going to kick a bag. Adelaide win, and there. That's my big
He's a
call.
big meaty boy.
He is. Alex would like him in his Supercoach team.
Leo?
St Kilda will win by 5+ goals against the Cats in
Oh,
Geelong.
really?
I absolutely. I really think the midfield battle will decide it, and I think the Saints will just crush them in that battle.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, the biggest thing I'm keeping an eye on this weekend, like these are the two things that are going to stand out the most, I think, for me. It's literally a follow-on from round 0. It's the Pies and the Demons forward lines. I think I've talked about how a couple of these games are fascinating because you will learn a lot very quickly from some of these teams. When we get a little bit more data, that's for the nerds. But
data.
the Pies and the Demons, from what we saw last week, you have not a giant amount of confidence in their ability to kick a big score.
Yeah.
Like we did see Collingwood just go, Jim, it doesn't matter, mate. We'll be fine. We'll probably still kick
That's all their fans on Twitter, yeah.
But the Demons, that's the sort of big one. So I think those are my two bits of focus this week.
Yep.
The forward lines for those two want to be, obviously contenders. I don't know. Have you guys got any other ones that you're sort of looking at and trying to keep an eye on?
Just off the top of my head was just watching how Freo and Richmond go, because a lot of people, they're the ones that are sort of, so you got Hawks, North and West Coast, who are sort of people picking their bottom 3, and just above that people have got Freo and Richmond, just to see if they're as bad as everyone says they are. So maybe just to keep an eye on them.
Nice one. Leo?
Jamara. I want to see how it goes against Stephen May or Jake Lever.
Yeah,
Nice.
nice.
Good watch.
That's a great keep an eye on.
Yeah, good call.
Supercoach tips, vibes, thoughts.
Oh.
Very briefly, because there is an entire Supercoach podcast that you can go and subscribe to. It's hosted by some very handsome ginger gentleman. Rookie bolter for this week. Who do you like, Leo?
Don't know if he'll classify as a rookie, but I think Henry Huswaite being out, I'm going to lean towards Sam Berry.
Oh, from Adelaide, yeah.
226,000.
Yep.
He's listed on Ball. I think he'll be one to shoot up in price.
Yeah, nice.
Leo? Stats guy?
Yeah, Darcy Wilson, I think he had 30 touches in the preseason game for the Saints. I think he's going to be an absolute star. Only 130K. A lot of those big name rookies, the ones that everyone's been talking up, are over 200K. So you get him for 130. I think he's a sneaky one to start in your forward line at such a cheap price for 130,000. So yeah.
Mine's Howes for Melbourne.
He was awesome.
He was great
last
last week. I think there will still be a lot of football for him to be getting around against the Dogs. So
91 last week, yeah.
should be a fascinating one. So there's the cheapies. In terms of your captain, what's your setup for this week? We're going to loophole one of the Pies, even though Dacos traditionally hasn't scored massively against Sydney. You do have Brody Grundy on one side going against a bit more revenge. He was fantastic last week in lowering Maxi Gordon's colours. Do you feel like you're definitely going to vice captain somebody on the Friday night game?
Yep, I am. I'm going to I've got Grundy at the moment, just as a big sort of statement game, but it's hard to go past Dacos.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys that were tagging the tagging role for Swans that aren't there anymore. You got, I think Alex was talking about in the office about Wicks and Fox, but I don't think they can keep up with Dacos. So I'm still leaning towards Dacos as the vice. Yeah.
Nice one. The captain for me is just lock and load Tom Green, I think, at this point.
Yeah,
especially against North.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's
there's a
not a
lot
bad
of ball to be won there.
Yeah.
Just show you.
Bond was the best player in Supercoach as well.
I'm
so
going to
gonna
stay on Bond.
Yeah, he was the best player in Supercoach last year, but Tom Green will get about 50 touches against
But this
Tom.
is the point. You can also, because that's the Saturday game, right? And you've still got Bont and Trark
Well, you could.
on the Sunday, so you can actually vice Tom Green and Leopold.
No, I'm going to do that right now, Jim.
I'm just out here talking sense. Just talking sense. My thing is, so my big call for Supercoach is I don't think I'm starting Bont. It's 725. I've got a couple of other primos.
In terms of price, it's okay, but he is going to be the best player again.
Because if he has like at least 2 games where he hiccups in the first like 4 weeks, that's going to come down pretty dramatically very quickly because it's such a high break even.
He doesn't hiccup very often.
That's true. But there you go, round 1 all set up for you here on AFL Today. That's what we do here on AFL Today. Just do all the fun stuff about footy. Because, God, it doesn't have to be that serious. I'll tell you that much. But thank you to these local dinguses. We've got Leo over there. Thank you, Leo.
Cheers, King Dingo.
And the stats guy, Liam.
Thank you, Jim.
Remember to smash a like across all the socials to see us doing lots of stuff. What else do we have today? We had the Gridley's Carlton Richmond one, which is fantastic. Lots of other little bits and bobs across all of Facey, IG, X, Threads, TikTok, and of course, YouTube. You'll see even more shorts popping up there. So subscribe, star, and like all of our shows. What is there? Cricket Today podcast that these two gentlemen are on.
Yep.
The Football Today podcast. You can see NBA Australia, hosted by moi. That's me. And of course, all of those shows will be on YouTube and all your podcast apps. So like, review, star them, get all around them. Like Tony Plugger-Lockett about a good greyhound in the 6th race. All right, but that's it. We'll catch you later this week, I think on the very late Sunday night for your Monday listening pleasure for more AFL Today. And until then, look after yourselves, would you? And remember, 2 of the greatest words in all of human history. Footy's back!